Of course, I broke the news that the lawyer or Justin Baldoni would be suing Blake Lively and her husband. Okay, I broke the story before everyone, before even the lawyer announced that he would be suing on behalf of Justin Baldoni. I also see the possibility of Justina also kind of suing her husband. I don't know how, but this SYNASTRY is highly indicating her partner, for her she's married, also being involved in this legal thing, but of course there hasn't been any news to say he's looking at suing him or her. I only know about him suing the media house. However, the SYNASTRY is highly indicating that he could also be going after the husband. How did I know this? I saw it in their SYNASTRY. I saw it, through the planets and what they have in store for us, right? So, of course, now everybody's following it. Everybody's talking about it. Literally, everyone. Like, you can't open YouTube and not see this story. It's everywhere and it's huge. And I obviously got it right. I got the predictions correctly. I also told you guys that there would be communication and all of that, and the text came out, and of course I posted it on my community page to show that when I use celebrities, I don't use celebrities for clout or just because they are, it's an in thing, or it's gonna sell, or people are gonna watch, just because we're talking about celebrities. No, I use celebrities literally for research purposes to show that this works, to show that the methods that we use work, and the science behind the SYNASTRY and astrology, so to speak, is legit, right? And of course, every time it's proven that in fact the planets, they know bigger than we do, right? And I've been breaking many stories before the media even announce it. I will tell you guys like 2 months before, 3 months before, 4 months before, when I do a SYNASTRY, that okay, I see this is going to come up, this is going to come up, this is going to come up, and story after story after story after story, it's been proven that my method works. All right, and I do it publicly, and you also guys see the results publicly. Nothing is hidden, nothing is a secret. Everything is on my community page, right? I say that to say this. I'm back again now, looking at the dynamics of Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, right? Looking at their SYNASTRY as a couple. I actually just saw another YouTube clip again about this story. It was what's this lady's name? I forgot her name now. I forgot her name. This African. Actually, let me look at from Google. Let me see. So Candace Owens, right? So I saw a story of a report from Candace Owens, breaking down this story, and she was actually worried for Blake Lively, stating that maybe Blake Lively is being controlled by Ryan Reynolds, like the husband, right? So I wanted to see. I'm like, okay, is it what is it so? Really, let me see what the planets are saying, because I love actually Candace Owens. I just love everyone who thinks differently, everybody who doesn't follow the flow, people who are not afraid to think for themselves, people who are not afraid to think contre everyone, contrary to popular belief. I love those type of people. So I was like, okay, cool, let me draw it up. So let's get in the detail. So first of all, I'm not going to be like doing the interactive chart showing, you guys with the arrows and everything, because unfortunately it really like takes so much time with the editing. And I know that I only have like 100 of you guys who watch these, and for now, you guys, you and I, you already know how we do things here, Gemini way. No specific formula. Right? So basically I'm just gonna leave up the charts so that you can also just check if you want to check, to base your understanding based on the chart. I'm leaving them up here, but I'm not doing the interactive showing you with the arrows. I'm talking about this now, right? Sorry, love lovers. But anyway, as I said, we understand each other already here. Thank you for your support. Anyway, so what I can say here, first of all, is that this couple is real, right? This is a real couple. When I look at their synastry, this is real love, real intimacy, real connection, real foundation of love, right? This is not a Hollywood get together type of a vibe. No, this is real. Their synastry is showing real connections, and we're going to get into those details. Come along. So we have a trine, a beautiful trine of the Saturns, right? She was born in 1987. He's born in 1976. So there's a beautiful trine of Saturns, and when we get the beautiful trine like this of Saturns, it means that in their commitment they support each other through and through. They believe in their union, they support each other in their union, and they will break a leg for each other in supporting each other, right? And of course, it tells a trine like this, it tells us they have similar beliefs when it comes to commitment. They have similar beliefs when it comes to career life. They have similar beliefs when it comes to tradition in relationship and marriage, right? So this part has been so easy in their marriage, or making their marriage easy for them. We love it. I love it. And then we have her Saturn conjunct his Venus. Love this. I really enjoy seeing Saturn and Venus together, because for me it tells me that this relationship is not born out of obligation. It's not born out of desperation. It's not born out of dependence because of resources. It is born out of love. This is a commitment that is born out of love. Commitment, certain Venus, love, right? So we love to see such things. I love it very, very much so, right? It just makes me happy when I see something like this, because I love you guys. So they have this, and of course we see it in their union. They've been together, bringing up their family, building up their wealth, building up their status in Hollywood and in the world as well, right? And they have a beautiful sextile of their moons. Like her moon is sextile his moon, you guys. Like you guys, like they really have a stable love. Like seriously, guys, like when you see them, just know that they have the real thing. They are the real deal. They have a beautiful sextile of moons. Again, it's telling us that they see the family life in the same manner. They support each other. They see friends in each other. They, obviously have the beautiful 4 children together because their moons are in harmony. And of course, she has her Venus also sextile his moon. emphasizing the affection, emphasizing the love, emphasizing the harmony, emphasizing the direction of family life that is not just there, but it's also based on gaining materialistic things for their family to be stable, not only in a love perspective, but also in a material perspective, like solid base, right? They do have also they are sextile, another beautiful sextile of their Mars, meaning that sexually attraction is there. They find each other attractive, find each other interesting, find each other as well intellectually attractive, because sometimes it's a physical manifestation only, but in this case it's both physical and mental, right? So they find each other zoom zoom zzz. Woo! This is what you want to see, right? And of course, like in any other relationships, they have hiccups, ups and downs, which we can see through the squares that they have. Her Venus squares his Venus, okay? Anytime when you see a square, you see a challenging factor. But when you see a square, do not be afraid. I repeat this. When you see a square, do not be afraid. The square is telling you that you need to adjust. You need to sacrifice something. You need to give up something in order to make this relationship work. So it could be your resources that you need to give up. It could be your time that you need to give up. It could be your schedule, your affection, anything. There's something that you need to give up, right? And in their case specifically, we can see that it was the communication for him, like he needed to improvise on his communication, or either to learn to communicate better, to learn to be more affectionate, to bring his emotions in terms of love and expressing it in a better way, right? And for her, it's also the same in her speech. She needed to tone down her speech, because her speech is in Leo and in the second house, meaning that she can have a bold, arrogant speech, a speech that is sure, because also it's with Sun and Mars. So in her speech, she can be rude. Literally, she can just be rude. She can burn you just by what she speaks with her mouth, because it's all happening in the mouth speech, right? Second house. And she's got Mercury here and Moon. So basically it's like whatever she says with her words, she can literally just make you go away from this earth. She can delete you with her words, right? And she's very sure, she's very assertive, very aggressive in her speech, very because Mars here is also the lower degree in terms of this cluster. So she's very in her speech, like boo boo boo, right? So they both needed to work here, or regarding their speech, because of this square that we see. That's what it's telling us. That's the work they needed to do, or they still need to work on, or they will work on this throughout the relationship, right? But again, when you see a square, do not fear. And again, she's got her Moon square her Venus. This is another tough one, because you don't want to see challenges between affection and love, between nurturing and making children, between expressing your emotions and expressing affection, right? But again, because it's a square, it's something we can fix. It is something we can fix, right? Do not be afraid. Look for solutions, look for options, look for how to better yourself in this relationship to meet your partner's needs. That's what it means, right? So, of course, here they would be working on this as well, because again, it's her speech, because again, Moon is in the second house. Her speech, the way she expresses her emotions, it can be a bit off putting in terms of how he wants to express his love, how he wants to show his love. It can make him feel insecure. It can make him feel like it's work, right? So those differences here. And we have for specific semisextiles here. When you see a semisextile, wherever you see a semisextile in your mind, just remember that SYNASTRY expert Mita said one person is going to benefit more than the other. In many cases where Venus is included in such a case here, because her Venus is semisextile, he's certain, right? Where Venus is included, Venus will not mind this semisextile, even if it's the one losing. The person who's losing doesn't mind. So in her case, she doesn't mind losing herself in love. She doesn't mind investing everything in this love. She doesn't mind losing some resources towards building this love. So it depends on the planets. Always look at the planets. So she's got her Venus sextile, he's certain. She's got her moon sextile, he's certain. She's got her certain sextile, his moon, and her Mercury sextile, he's semisextile, semisextile, his Mercury. So I repeat because I just said sextile, right? She's got her certain semisextile, his moon semisextile, certain, Venus semisextile, certain, and Mercury semisextile, Mercury. So meaning that there's a lot of investment here, okay? She's investing more than him in the relationship because she's the one who's making the semisextile in terms of the semi, whereas he's receiving the sextile part, right? So, however, as I say, in relationships, we get into relationship with the knowledge that we will be investing ourselves, we will be giving ourselves selflessly to the partner. So this is normal in most relationships. So do not be afraid again, but look at the planet that is becoming involved and look at the house, because some planets such as Venus, they are happy to be in a semisextile. So here knowledge is critical of what planet you're dealing with and what house you're dealing with and how it's impacting. So in this case, in their case, she doesn't mind. She loves it. She loves to invest herself, to throw herself literally in this marriage, in this relationship. And of course, if it's been working well for it's been working well for Verema. I do have, her cluster of her planets. She's got a cluster of 5 planets in Leo. Again, I remind everyone that I am using a sidereal method to come up with the ascendant. I am not using a Placidus tropical to come up with the ascendant. However, I do incorporate their tropical Western side, including Chiron, Lilith, Vertex, Fortune, all the nice things, Pluto, Uranus, Neptune, that the sidereal people don't use, right? As I said in my other videos, that I do follow a Babylonian astrology because it's my base, it's my foundation, right? It's we're from Babylon. Literally, we are from Babylon. But I don't talk much about some of the aspects from the Babylonian astrology, because a lot of people are not aware of the other parts, like the nitty-gritty of astrology. So I don't want to make it heavy. As the time goes, of course, I'm going to be introducing them a bit by bit, as I have kind of like tried to introduce the nakshatras. But as well with the nakshatras, not a lot of people are aware of that. So I try to make a slow introduction, like a slow penetration of my research, or not just boom 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 everything, and then you're just confused from the get-go until the end of the video. Right? But with time, right? Certain, I am working with certain, literally certain is in my 6th house, and everything I do regarding work is slow, right? Slow progress, slow movement, but everything is well adjusted. So with time, we're going to get into the deeper details of everything, right? But I'm talking about now her cluster of planets: Moon, Sun, Venus, Mercury, Mars in Leo, conjunct with his fortune, right? Meaning that they both help each other when it comes to finances, to build their wealth, to build their boom, right? Because second house is her bank, her money, family, wealth, values, and fortune is a fortune. So both of them, they contribute towards their wealth, right? However, I do have her Ketu conjunct with his Mercury, which is, by the way, the ascendant lord for him, because he's a Virgo ascendant. Again, I'm using a sidereal to compilate the ascendant. And his Mercury rather is with the Pluto, so meaning that he's a person who is intense, who's very intense, because of the Pluto that he has on his ascendant. But he's got, his Mercury, the ascendant ruler, on the ascendant exalted. So meaning that whatever he says is usually very convincing, and he himself is usually very convincing to people. Like with his Plutonian energy, he can transform you. Literally, you just being with him, you can be transformed into something else, and mostly through communication, right? He can say something to you and you just believe it and you become transformed, right? However, due to her Ketu now being conjunct also on his ascendant, it means, again, because Ketu, wherever Ketu sits, there will be at least one scandal in your life that will come because of Ketu. As I explained in my other video regarding Ketu, Ketu's role is to make you learn the things that you never learned in your past lives. It is to make you also get rewards that you never received in your past lives. Maybe you passed on before you were granted your award that was outstanding. So then the person who was supposed to reward you, they come back in this life, maybe as your child or as your mom, as your dad, as your lover, to be able to reward you. But they can also come here to be able to punish you, or to make you learn the things that you were supposed to learn. Again, contrary to everything that you heard regarding Ketu, that is representing the things we already achieved, the lives that we already accomplished. It is not so. It is coming here to actually make you do the things that you did not do, the karma that is outstanding, right? So with her Ketu on his ascendant, it is bringing shame, because Ketu brings shame, not only to teach you, but also to humble you, to make you realize that there is a bigger goal in life than your status, in his case, because it's on his ascendant. So there is a bigger goal than your personality, than your looks, than who you represent, right? So it's just a lesson. But it also means that it makes his communication be lost at times, because Mercury is communication, and Ketu being on the communication, it makes it be a lost communication, or an embarrassing communication, right? As such, now we see with this legal case that her Ketu, because of her Ketu and her communication, he's also implicated also through his own communication, making scandalous Pluto, making scandalous claims publicly, right? Because for her it's the third house of media, and for him it's him, the ascendant, the person. So we, all the blame now is becoming is out. Everybody's talking about it. There's shame around them because Ketu is here, right? Pluto is also here, also brings shame, which will transform him into somebody else, because Pluto is a transformer, right? I also do have her Pluto conjunct with his own cluster. He has a cluster in Libra, which is, I just love their relationship, because she's got a cluster in a fire sign of Leo, and he's got a cluster in a Libra sign, meaning that they gel together, because Libra and Leo, they go well together. They make a semi-sextile in terms of conjunctions, right? Right. So she's got her Pluto conjunct, or his cluster of Moon, Sun, Rahu, Mars, and Uranus, making him, be bigger, because Pluto also transform you into a bigger thing, right? It's like if you lose money, and then you go through that transformation of grieving and feeling sad, and then all of a sudden, boom, you get something else that will make you happy, that is bigger, that is brighter. That's the lesson of Pluto, to transform us through pain, through shock, through things that are taboo, but for the better good, to be able to either be stronger, to be better, to be richer, to be more learned, more experienced, all these types of things, right? So I do have her Uranus and Saturn conjunct with his Venus and Neptune, as I said, whereby now you get that Saturn and Venus conjunction, which is beautiful, forming this relationship as well, right? And with her Uranus here and his Neptune here, you can tell now that he's not able to see Blake for who she is, because Venus is wife, Venus is spouse, Venus is women, and it's with Neptune. So meaning that he's not able to see Blake for who she really is, because his own Venus is clouded by Neptune, right? I have her Jupiter conjunct with his Ketu, Chiron, and Lilith. Here, Jupiter and Ketu they do well together, no problems here. And with Chiron as well, Jupiter helps, the wound be healed. However, it will also help the wound be bigger, because whatever Jupiter touches, it goes bigger and bigger, as we see now, right? With all this humiliation, Ketu, it's bigger, it's grand, because of her Jupiter. I do have her Lilith and Fortune with his Saturn, meaning that her money is stable, but it's coming from hard work through his Saturn, and it came in slowly moving up, right? However, because there's Lilith here in this Fortune, it means that some of her money she could have gotten maybe through favors that she was not supposed to get, and all of that, right? Because that's what Lilith is about. I do have her Jupiter opposite that whole cluster in his Libra sign. Well, Jupiter here is actually giving support, because when Jupiter is on the other side, is giving support, but the support is challenging. It's like your papa, it's like your dad. Your dad is there to support you, but they will challenge you. When you do something, they will say, why are you doing this? Or when you ask a dad, can I have 20 euros? And your dad will hesitate first, saying, no, I'm not going to give you. Why do you want such money? Why don't you learn how to use money? But they were going to give you, but they're still going to give you. They're still going to bless you, right? So it's like that with Jupiter on the opposition sign. It will test you. It will ask you questions. It will give you a bit of trouble, but it will still bless you, right? So meaning that she has, her counsel, she gives him counsel with certain things. She supports him, with his endeavors, because it's in the second house, so with money as well, right? And then she's there in the 8th house of shared resources, expanding that area, giving counsel, giving direction as well, right? I did forget that his own vertex is in her 8th house, vertex, opposite her own cluster, meaning that there will be a sudden 360 change in their shared life, which will affect her bank account and his fortune, because this is also conjunct with his fortune. Let's take a break. Let's breathe. We've said too much now. So I do have her Saturn and Uranus opposite his Jupiter. Again, Jupiter and Saturn are neutral together, so meaning that Jupiter will still be able to give it its support without feeling restricted by Saturn. This is what I like sometimes with opposition. I've told you guys that oppositions sometimes are good, oppositions sometimes are bad. So not all the time when you see an opposition you should be scared. No, calm down and say, which planets am I dealing with now? What relationships do they have to each other, right? And then you can tell yourself, okay, for this part I should not worry. In this case of Saturn and Jupiter in an opposition, there's nothing to worry here because these are neutral planets to each other, meaning that they'll be able to do their job without getting affected by each other. But Jupiter, because it's a positive planet, it will still send its love, send its support, send its aid, when it's needed, right? So you can see that because he's the Jupiter, that he's been helping her with her career, because this is certain career profession and her responsibilities and goals and status as well. And there has been a lot of sudden changes with her status, her profession as well, due to Uranus. But he's there supporting, giving the support, being the good husband, right? I do have her Pluto opposite his Ketu, Chiron and Lilith. Again, Pluto and Ketu, they work well together in a conjunction. And when they are in opposition sign, this is not really beneficial because you would rather have them together. So meaning that here, every transformation that she's going through, it's not really giving, a maximum support to his own endeavors, to his own healing, to his own hustling, right, or activities, right? I do have her cluster in Leo of Moon, Sun, Mars, Venus, Mercury opposite his vertex, as I said, meaning that he would bring a 360 change in their shared life, right? And of course, it is coming through problems, litigations, as we see. It's also in the SYNASTRY, by the way, that vertex would come through or would be activated by litigation or a health problem, and which is so right. What is clearly indicated here, clearly indicated in the SYNASTRY, right, is of course, as I just said, that litigations or health problems would bring a 360-degree change in their marriage, in their shared life, in their shared resources, right? And at the same time, it would activate the vertex itself, right? And sex life, of course, is going to be impacted because it's coming from the 8th house. However, for him, it is not only the health or the litigation itself, but also the day-to-day activities. They would be impacted. Also the work area where he works, the atmosphere would change, would be in a bit a weird situation, right? And of course, we can attest to that because the media is reporting to that, and I broke the news that it would be so through SYNASTRY, right? Thank you, planets. Now, I do see that there would be a huge impact regarding their home, like the home now, when it's coming to the litigation itself. So it's either they would have to, as I already mentioned actually in my other SYNASTRY, that I could see a home being involved, and it came out that it actually there was a meeting in their penthouse, which led to all of these situation, the litigation. it's coming up again in the SYNASTRY Ryan and Blake, that the litigation would affect their home, it would affect their conveniences, their protection. So maybe, I don't know if they would have to sell a home, at some point, maybe to pay out, litigation fees, or to pay out the settlement or something like that. But there would be an affection, there would be an impact to the home and to the home wife itself, right? And I do see that, the profession or the status is going to impact their bedroom life. Like there would be a bit of isolation in the bedroom life, whereby now whatever is going on, with their profession, particularly his profession, to be specific, his profession, he would feel like, I'm not in the mood or something like that. So there would also be like some coldness in the bedroom life due to this whole saga that is going on publicly and in there, and regarding their status, right? I do see him having to invest some money or bank towards their home. So meaning that he would have bought the home that they stay in, or he would have bought, if maybe they have plenty of properties, which is, normal and expected with such A-list people. He invested lots of money within their homes and properties, and that's what's explained by the SYNASTRY, right? Or I forgot to say, everything is alleged from the get-go. Oh my gosh, from the moment I opened up my mouth until I finish, everything is alleged. This is SYNASTRY astrology. I'm just translating what the planets are saying, and thanks to the planets for allowing me to know what they know. Anyway, so what I also see is that their problems and their litigations, they will also impact or affect, some inheritance that they would have, put aside, and suddenly now they have to reshuffle their money, reshuffle their bank, reshuffle everything regarding to the resources themselves, right? So now let's just go into the timeline and let's look into this situation with a deeper perspective. Ons gaan. So Blake is currently 37 years old and he's currently 48 years old. And I see that around the age of 36, again, I must remind everyone that I use a manual method, meaning that I calculate by hand, and sometimes I could be off by 2 months in my calculation, but my calculation is from Babylon. So it's okay. So you can maybe just, give me grace with the 2 months if I'm off by 2 months or 1 month. Okay, all right. But by the age, around the age of 36, I do see that, she had a good time, like, because her progressing Venus was conjunct with her own natal Venus, Moon, Sun, Mars, Mercury, meaning that she was feeling very elevated in her life, in her status, in her values. Money as well was promising to come in, because remember, it's also attached to his fortune. So at this time they had money coming in, or promise of money to come in. Things were going very good for her, and for him at around age 47, which is the same age, his own progressing Venus was with his own cluster, also feeling pumped up. And there's Rahu here. Rahu is an illusion. Rahu will make you think that you're bigger than what you are, and it's with his sun. Both of their suns are in their clusters, and opposite her Jupiter, meaning that, she continued to counsel him, to tell him stuff, what to do, how to do things, what to do, right? What to say as well, because it's both affecting their houses of speech. Now, relating to what Candace said, Candace Owens, that she believes that Ryan is the puppet master or something like that, over Blake. Actually, it's showing in their synastry that Blake is like the counselor here. She's like the advisor here. That's what their synastry is saying, that most ideas, they actually come from her. She is like the upper voice, and he's like their follower in terms of advice, in terms of what to do, in terms of counsel, right? So yeah, that's what the synastry is showing here. And of course, it's a marriage, so both partners, they do tend to feed off each other and each other's voice. But I don't see here Blake Lively being dimmed, like her light being dimmed by Ryan. Is actually the opposite. She's got a more aggressive voice, a more bigger voice, a more counsel. I am your counselor, I am your advisor, I tell you what to do type of a vibe here. That's what I'm getting here. And on top, his Venus is with Neptune. Again, he is not able to see his spouse for who the spouse really is because of the Neptune cover, right? And so basically now she's around 37, right? 37 years old. She's 37. Currently now her progressing Venus is with her natal Ketu. What's going to happen when there's Ketu? There's going to be loss, right, in terms of Venus structures. So definitely there's loss in terms of her status. There's loss of love from the public, and probably even in their marriage they're having problems right now because her Venus is with Ketu, right? And it's with his Pluto and Mercury. So lots of arguments at this time, a lot of things being revealed. Again, things are revealed because Mercury is communication, information, and Pluto is about secrets that get to be revealed because it's on his ascendant, meaning that he's being exposed as well for the things that he said, Mercury, right? And through her Ketu, which is the shame, the public humiliation that she's put herself through her own communication, because it's third house of communication, right? And for him on his side, I see that his own progressing Venus right now is again with his own natal Venus and Neptune, again showing that vision of he's not able to see what the wife really is, or he's believing everything that the wife is saying without assessing it because he's so deeply in love with the Neptune covering his vision towards love, towards the spouse, right? So because of the Neptune here, he's really not able to see beyond what people are saying or the wife is saying, and it's with her Saturn and Uranus. So there will not be a divorce. For people who are asking, will there be a divorce? There's Saturn here when it comes to his side, so it's not going to be happening because Saturn and Venus, they like to be together. Yes, there could be maybe separation if there would be, but don't think of a divorce. However, the sudden change in her career is shown because Uranus is here, and obviously the sudden impact of Neptune, all the lies being exposed, they also being exposed suddenly because of the Uranus. So we're not seeing any divorce for those people who are wishing that they're gonna divorce or who are saying that they're gonna divorce this year. It's not happening this year, that is for sure. Saturn is saying no because Saturn likes Virgo ascendants, because Saturn supports Virgo ascendants, because Saturn likes Mercury. So Saturn here is definitely saying hold on, I like my marriage, I like commitment, even if things are bad. I like to commit. I don't like to I can give you a hard time, but I don't like divorce. That's not my thing, right? So that's what Saturn is saying here. So they're not divorcing. the planets are saying this, at least for this year, right? So let's see what's happening in the following years. So now what I see is that or also this year what's happening is that there's a power play through his Pluto, so meaning that he's trying to use his power dynamics, he's trying to use his business skills, communication through his Mercury, to give an influence through the media, because it's his third house. So he's using his power, Pluto, his communication, business skill, Mercury, he himself, his personality, he wants to show out, he wants to go there physically to convince people to kind of like influence power, right? Pluto, through the media as well, through communication as well, because third house regarding the things of the ninth house, the laws and legalities, because the sixth house is the litigation itself, but where it's written and ruled is the ninth house, right? So basically that's what he's doing, and that's what we're seeing here. And again, I emphasize, I see that he's giving like his own counsel Jupiter, his own counsel natal Jupiter in the ninth house is a retrograde, meaning that he's receiving incorrect counsel. He's receiving counsel regarding laws, regarding policies, regarding the law itself, that is actually working against him, because it's a retrograde, his Jupiter, and is in the ninth house, right? Meaning that he would have to redo some of the things regarding the legalities that he's facing right now, right? Anyway, so when she's around 38 years old, what I do see is that her progressing Venus will be conjunct with his own cluster of planets in his second house, which is fourth house for her. And at this time, they're gonna be trying to, there will be argument, that's for sure, because there's Mars, there's Sun, there's a Rahu, bringing love, there's Moon. There will be arguments for sure, but the argument would be within the home or about the home. Again, so a lot of stuff being spoken and about the bank, because this is his second house of family. So there would be some arguments for sure, some things regarding to the home or to the properties, or stuff like that. I see that happening. And for him, what is being confirmed is that, because his own Venus will be opposite her Chiron, so there will be some pain again, experienced, regarding whatever is going to be happening with an argument or something relating to their home, or something like that, right? And at the same time is conjunct with her vertex, is going to change their life. So whatever is going to be happening, argument or harsh talks that are happening next year around 38 and 49 for him, they will change the dynamics of their relationship for sure. And at the same time, there's also her Neptune here. So Neptune, again, illusions, lies, manipulation, trying to say stuff, right? And his Venus is going to be conjunct with this, so she could be maybe saying some things to trying to convince him, and stuff, and talking about her pain that she feels because her Chiron is here. And she would feel some pain definitely here regarding relationship or love or money, because Venus also can be money, and disregarding their home again, and also facing their profession. So there would be something that will hurt her regarding the profession, and it would be also part of the situation. From her side, it's regarding the sixth house of gain of litigation, the sixth house of health, and the 12th house of isolation, of jail, of hospitals, of foreign travels, right? So there would be some change, like a huge change, because vertex is here, that will impact all of these four avenues: the home life, home, properties, status, profession, litigation, and isolation at the same time, right? So is going to be between them, and around 39, when she's 39, I see her progressing Venus will be with her Satan. With her Saturn, which is will try to reaffirm the love here. So around 39, this is when things could really cool down, and they try to rebuild their family, rebuild their life, rebuild their thing, right? Like their situation, their romance, because it's in the 5th house, their romance life, and it will be attached to his Venus as well, Neptune. So here romance, Neptune giving the romance, the romanticism, and is going to be against his Jupiter. So Jupiter is celebration, but when Jupiter is opposite Venus, it can also give minimum support, because it's far, but it's giving support either way. So here when she's around 39, I see some reconciliation or calmness coming into their love again, rebuilding their love again. And for him, I see that his Venus, progressing Venus, will be affecting her 7th house of marriage again, of marriage opposite his Saturn. So when she's 39 and he's 50, around those ages, I see them rebuilding again. I see them, restructuring again, falling in love again, and moving forward or rebuilding their family. So for now, that's it, you guys. I'll chat to you soon on the next one. We will break more stories. For now, I'm going to say a bientôt. Ciao, ciao.